everyone. This is Murphy Daly, author and AV veteran, and you are joining us. You are watching and you are listening to the AV Life.
Hey, James here, writer for the Higher Ed Digital Magazine, the IT and AV column, board member for HEPMA, and anything else social you can find me. And you are listening and watching the AV Life.
And I'm your host, Tim Van Wert at T Van Wert, and also at the AV Life Pod, and also at higheredav.com. And you are watching and listening to the AV Life. And we are back. I'm sorry, folks. We missed a week last week, had some scheduling conflicts and some personal stuff on my end come up, but all is well. That's all we're just gonna put it at that. Everything has been cleared up and everything's good now.
Because you're a
Glad to be back.
superhero.
I I don't know about that, but although it's funny, I am wearing my Captain America t-shirt today,
Okay.
so
Yes,
maybe
yes.
I like to play one on podcast.
Yeah.
I don't play one on TV, only on podcasting. So,
Mhm.
Murphy, James, how we all doing?
Good.
Doing just well, just gearing up for the big move.
The big move. And by the time our folks hear this, you are going to be on a plane heading out to the other coast. You're abandoning me. You're leaving me.
No longer going to be an East Coaster.
You're changing the balance. Like
Not
this
even
is
gonna be a
like this is.
coaster.
What was that?
Yeah.
You're not even a coaster.
No, it won't be.
Yeah.
And I'm sure just for our listeners who haven't seen on social media or know what we're talking about, starting Monday, so today that you're listening, I will be in Vegas working for UNLV.
And we are very proud of you for that, James. It's a well-deserved position change. And I know it's a big move. And I know it's going to be a big lifestyle thing, lifestyle change. And I don't know how they're going to react over there in Vegas to a Jersey guy out there with you, but
It's going to be interesting. And I know they're already trying to say their pizza's good, and it's not. It's not
I will gladly ship you gallons of Jersey water if that's what it's going to take to make. That's the
water.
thing.
They don't have a lot of water there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and that's I've heard part of the secret to good pizza is the water, and that's not.
I need pork roll as well. I'm gonna have to
pork roll. All right, I'll have to if I could sneak it on my luggage, I'll bring you a big roll from over here. So
you need to know, James.
Yeah.
As I've been walking throughout my neighborhood, my dog, which I do every day, cactuses will make beautiful flowers.
Good to know that.
Every once in a while, they will bloom gorgeously. So there's gonna be a lot of cactuses in your life.
And palm trees
too. And palm trees.
Yes. There's there are a whole bunch of them out by our townhouse that we're renting. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you didn't go to Florida, but you got the palm trees. So I guess that's not so bad. So all right. So yeah, it's so as we are getting speaking of Vegas, we are getting closer and closer to Infocomm, and I will say even though I know ISC is coming first, and but for those of us simple humans that can stay here in the States, Infocomm is the next big thing for us. It's just every day I'm seeing more and more things that are just more and more interesting, and I am as excited as I was for Orlando. I am way more excited for this one in Vegas. And that's from a HEPMA standpoint. That's from a technology standpoint. That is like there's so much that's going to happen this time around, I think, and plus just people. Like there's gonna be a lot of people at this one.
Woohoo!
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm with you. I'm hoping I can get to it. I'll be there one way or another. Even if it's not on the show floor, but I'm hoping to get there. But kind of don't want to go just so we can see Joe Way cry.
Wow.
We'll have to like hide you from him or something like that, so he could think that you're not there.
That would be good.
Biggest prank of all.
Yeah.
Murphy, you're also joining us, right?
That's the plan. Yeah, I'll be going
Awesome.
for the expo, and
Cool.
plan to go there, see what it's about, hug some people.
There we go. Are you
Mhm.
staying
Probably
at
write an
the
article about it.
happening Westgate?
I'm
Or
sorry.
did
What?
all higher ed take over Westgate?
The Westgate, yeah. The Westgate Hotel or Conference Center. Yeah, that's where like it seems like most of the higher ed folk have landed for some reason. So I'm not giving any credit to Joe Way because I did it without him knowing he was at that one. So
Yeah,
I picked it all on my own because I knew it was connected to the conference center.
oh, definitely.
So yeah, you can find myself and some of the other folks that are in higher ed over at the Westgate. It's also right outside of where Hetma's having our event, I think on Friday.
He
Or
did
it's
mention something about that. Yeah.
I have to, I'll have more details as we get closer to it. So, so yeah, listen back for more of that here on the AV Life. But yeah, it's actually kind of exciting. Like, and John McCabe from Epson is going to be there. He told me about that. Just so you know, James, I know that means something to James. It doesn't really mean anything to maybe anybody else, but Epson's going to have a strong presence there from what I understand. And John is going to be part of that group that is going to be there. John's the, I guess the New Jersey rep for Epson within higher ed. So all of us in higher ed in New Jersey know John very, very, very well.
And John's a great guy.
Yes, he is. I wish he was on Twitter because I would totally, since I've name dropped him here, I would tag him in a heartbeat just so he knows like we gave him a good plug here. So
I agree.
yeah. So yeah, so it's all exciting and seeing everyone's tweets and posts, especially now like they've got like a contest going on for who could share their session the most, and I think Megan Dutta is up at the top right now. I think I saw on Twitter. Yeah, I think her session is leading right now. So for most like social interactions, Erin's doing very well for herself too. Erin and Mike Peterson are both doing very well for themselves. But so yeah, so I'm gonna keep segueing. I think I actually did this pretty well here. But actually, wait, before I segue again, I don't want to get caught up because I don't want to leave this out. And I already skipped over it. The PM minute with Murphy and our minutress, because I haven't called you that in a couple weeks. The PM minutress. Yes.
Okay. Being the project manager, the word manager is in it. So the project manager has to manage what's going on, and that's a lot of different streams going on. There's a lot of different streams coming through, coming in and out, changing direction and coming together and staying on track if everything is done right. And in order to do that, in order to keep the things still on the same path, you have to make a decision. You have to say, this is what's going to happen. Even if I'm not 100% sure, I would like to have a three-way handshake with every decision I make, and I'm not going to get it. I have to sometimes make the best decision and say, okay, everybody, this is what we're doing, and go forward. So I guess this is incomplete information. Even if you don't have 100%, but you got most of it, go forward anyway. Keep it moving because it can't be dammed up. It's got to be like, okay, go through, and we'll figure it out. I don't like it. Like I said, I'd like to have a three-way handshake on everything that I have to make a decision on. Like, okay, this is what we're all going to do. Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always get all three yeses. I have to go signs point to yes. All right. That's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So every once in a while, that's what you have to do. And it takes courage because it might go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It was me that made the call. But if I don't make a decision, for sure it will go wrong. If everything is dammed up, and I'm like, well, I'm waiting on the one guy to say that he really did get that tracking number. The guys will go, well, everybody can't wait on that. Say, keep going, and I'll check on that tracking number and we'll figure it out.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I
down
agree.
the torpedoes.
Yeah, it's definitely something I struggle with as well. Like, I think if of like all my management things, like I think that's like one of the ones that are on my top, on like the top for me, is that like the being decisive and making that decision. And because I want everyone to get along. Like I have that shit, was Sinead O'Connor, like, can't we all just get along? It's like, yes. I was like, I'd love to be able to kumbaya with everybody and let's work this all together. But yeah, sometimes you just need to make that decision and just go. It's like, okay, you're waiting for something for somebody else, but I have to keep going. It's so yeah, it's a lot like, oh, was it? Oh, Meet the Robinsons. It was a Disney movie. See, everything relates back to Disney somehow.
Everything.
Disney and Star Wars. Disney and Star Wars. Everything goes back at some point. I'm sorry, James. This is just how it is for me.
No.
Oh, I thought that was James.
Like, oh,
James
no.
was like kind of like pushing on his eyeball. Like I was like,
No,
oh
I
my
had
God.
something
I'm
in
like,
my eye
I'm
actually.
okay.
But also,
Um,
Disney owns Star Wars now.
well, yes, of course. So
It's
everything,
always Disney.
yes. And Disney owns ESPN and ABC or an ABC. Yeah, ABC.
ABC.
So they own everything.
Of course.
But anyway, it's there's a big phrase in that movie, which I think there was also like just an anniversary, like for 15 years or something like that. So that's why it's in my head. And it says, keep moving forward. Like that's that's their big thing about, failures happen, things slow you down, but you got to keep moving forward. And in this case, it's, keep moving forward and, we got to make the decision and keep going. So don't get slowed down by the indecisiveness.
Yeah, don't be the block.
Yes.
Don't be the block.
Don't be a blocker. Yeah.
I'll do what I normally do and relate things to soccer.
There you go.
As I always tell the goalkeepers, like when they come out to pressure a ball, they have to commit. Like, don't what I call fall into the no man's land where you start to come out and then you backpedal and then you start to come out. I'm like, even if it's the wrong choice, you're a dead duck if you just do the no man's land. Come out, do it, even if it's wrong, finish it out strong. Because otherwise, you make it worse.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that within hockey as well, and it goes on both sides. Because so the last couple of times we've been to see the Devils, they've gotten into shootouts, and I've started to notice things. The more I watch games, the more I've become a bigger fan. Because I never played when I was a kid. Like I knew what hockey was and I understood kind of the basics, but the longer I've been watching now, I get a better grasp of the whole game. And from an offensive side and a defensive side, like when the goalie commits to, like you were saying, like commits to what's happening on the penalty shot or any shot, he's like, you just got to go for it, and it's the same thing on the offensive side for the penalty shooter. It's like they fiddle around with it and they try to second guess what they're trying to do at the last second. And inevitably the puck goes off into space. It's like the ones that know what they're doing and have that plan and can do the deke and, top shelf over the goalie's shoulder. It's like, those are the successful goals. It's like they had a plan and they stuck to it and they saw it through. So there you go. Everything eventually. Yeah. So yeah, that was a good one, Murphy. Yeah. As always. This is what I'm going to have to go back. And I know it's been a long time at this point that we've been doing PM minutes. I think we're just going to need to like come up with it's going to require a lot of effort, but I feel like I'm going to need to put a compilation together of.
Yeah, we could have that book, how like each one, and then you flip the page, another book, another page, and like, yeah.
A digital book. There you go.
Digital.
Hire a student worker. Come on, we can get some. right?
Get an intern.
Right.
We'll talk. We'll get on that with Joe Way. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's got to be somebody in the the communications program that's looking to dig through
Hours of tape.
hours of tape, a digital tape. Excuse me, digital files.
Yes,
Wow.
not even tape. Yes.
I was gonna say I referred to it as tape. That's yeah, and also not related to my personal things that were happening last week. Last week was also my birthday, so I am another year older, and so that was so. It's funny because like that morning that I woke up, like I mean, aside from being up on the roof, well, in the attic and stuff like that, yeah, I was busy doing things. I got up that next morning, and my knees were hurting, and I was like. It's like I don't usually get sore like this after. It's like it's all of a sudden I turned like another number and then my knees
Warranty ran
decided.
out.
Yeah, it's like yeah, I was like, oh, that's it's like somebody had that planned. It's like I don't want to feel like this. So, but yeah, so that was I was still planning on having the episode last week, even with my birthday.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, not like last year. I say last year I took the episode off because it was actually my birthday day. So but
Life
yeah, I was gonna
conspired
say
to give you
we've
a
recorded.
day off anyway.
What was
So
that?
life conspired to give you a day off from doing the podcast anyway.
True, yes, from doing podcasting. Yeah. So yeah, oh, and yeah, so things changed a little bit. And so James, I'm gonna hand this over to you real quick. We've got some the HETMA Prism Scholarship is coming up, so we're gonna move on to that real quick. So if you give our folks a little bit of information on that real quick, and then we'll keep talking about that.
Yeah. So the Prism Scholarship, for those who are unaware, is HEPMA has partnered with VIXA to provide 10 scholarship. Yes, 10 scholarships that will go to, I'm trying to use the proper language because I know words matter. Um, go to underrepresented members of our AV community, and give them a chance to get their CTS basically. So the scholarship gives them a year elite membership to Avixa. It gives them uh, a waiver for the CTS exam. It gives them the online categories catalog of Avixa, and I think it covers a trip out to Infocom as well. Deadline
That's a
to
big deal.
Yes. So the deadline to apply is April 30th. So you got to get out to hetma.org and make sure you register for the PRISM scholarship. So right on our main website of hetma.org, scroll down to PRISM scholarship, and there's a link that says apply today. And even though VIXA is partner with us on this, this is fully going to be selected by the HEPMA community. We have a committee who will be reviewing the applicants and determining from the applicants who will be receiving those scholarships. So
I encourage everyone who wants to apply, apply. Absolutely. This is meant, I have from time to time been the recipient of these sorts of things, and it's meant to encourage people. If you're listening to this podcast and you're interested, you think, oh, I mean, maybe not me, apply, absolutely apply, because this is meant to be an encouragement. This is meant to say, we want you to succeed. And here's extra. Not probably you could have come up with it on your own, but this is an extra encouragement and an extra um, recognition that if you apply and people see that you're doing it, HETMA has created this to help even build this community of AV people and grow the people for the future. This is a really valuable thing. And if you're even thinking about it, do it. I really want you to do it
Yeah.
We
because
all
it's
want
meant
you
for
to.
you.
And it's a wonderful opportunity. And like, it's really, and there's so much knowledge that is to be gained from this. And if this is even a thought in your head that you want to make this your career, whether it's in higher ed or not, or just in AV in general, do this. Like, this is a huge opportunity. So, and I know, as board members, myself and James, we are so thankful for the opportunity that Avixa and all of our sponsors have given to be able to provide this opportunity, because we've seen how valuable it is to our vertical in general, and we know that there's an opportunity for growth that we want to see it fostered and extended out to. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a
so
great thing that HETMA has been able to do. And I know that everyone at HETMA is proud to be able to do it. And we want to find people apply, absolutely apply. Even if you think you know somebody who should apply, absolutely apply.
I mean,
yes,
that's what I kept saying is what makes me proud about the prison scholarship is a lot of companies, a lot of people put words out there is like, oh, we support diversity. We, you know, they'll change your profile pic to support movements and a lot of words. But this is actually action back uh, that's backing our words that we support diversity and we want to improve the members in the AV community by having these diverse voices heard and growing because that's how we all learn is by learning from each other and growing.
mhm,
And one of the things, if someone it feels like they're not being represented, they're like, oh, that's not for me. That's for other people, people that aren't like me. And this is meant to be, no, you too.
Yep.
Just because you don't see
mhm.
tons of people that feel familiar to you, that doesn't mean it's not you for you.
Yeah, be that person that brings in more people that are like you. Like, that's,
Mhm.
this is that opportunity, because you come in and you bring your friends. It's funny. It's a way of, we my wife and I used to volunteer at our youth group, and we would tell the kids, it's like, if you want to see more of your friends here, bring them here. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like, you want to see more people come in to, if it's your small university, big university, small college, big college, community college. Yeah.
Yep.
We don't have a lot from community colleges. So, this is a big opportunity for you as well. Come on in. Like, we are glad to have you. And if you're listening here also, and if you're not a member of HETMA, it's free. So just go to hetma.org, fill out the form, and come on in and join us. And there's a wealth of knowledge there as well. So
Free for higher ed members.
free for higher ed folks. Oh, that's
As,
yes.
yeah, as a Joe said, corporate, we're working on it. It's coming. Say
Yeah.
keep listening, keep following. We're working on it.
Yes. And we are always available for sponsorships at hetma.org as well as higherEdAV.com. So but yeah, so the Prism Scholarship is a great opportunity, and I can't even say that enough. Like, I feel like that just needs to be said over and over and over
There's a
again.
story this morning.
Mhm.
I went to my martial arts class this morning, and we're getting ready next week to do our belt elevation. So I'm going to get my next up color belt. I'll be a purple belt. And in order to achieve that elevation, the belt elevation, you have to have finished a certain amount of things. And they have the stripes, you know. So a guy that I hadn't seen him a couple times, but he was there today, and I said, "Hey, you have almost all of your stripes. Go get your stripe. I want you to go up and to get belt elevated." He goes, "Oh, I don't know. I mean, do you think so?" I'm like, "Yes, yes." And I like dragged him up after the class to the teacher. I'm like, he needs his, and even before I even finished it, the teacher was like, "Oh yeah, you need your belt, right? You need your next stripe, right?" So he was like, ashamed that he had missed a couple classes, so he didn't apply. He didn't ask, but I made him do it because I'm like, I want you to come with me. I want you to come up and continue to grow. So I want that for all the applicants, for applicants or not, for people to continue to grow in their career and learn this. So if you feel like, oh, maybe it's not for me, you're not alone in feeling that way. I encourage you to apply anyway.
And then just like Murphy is, if you feel like you're that person that needs to elevate somebody, go be that person. You know, take them along and be like, here, I will bring you to my office. We will go on my computer and we will fill this out for you right now. So, because sometimes like, and I know I'm guilty of it. Like sometimes I don't see it in myself. You know, it's I guess, you know, that's, you know, I have trouble seeing that. And sometimes I need people to tell me, yeah, this is great. You're doing awesome here. I think you should do this. So that's, be that person.
Yeah, we all suffer from that imposter syndrome, at least
That's it.
moments in our lives. But again, everyone's voice matters and everyone's opinion matters. One way or another. I know there are some people who are doing some evil things in the world, and so you can gotta question those. But again, everyone does matter, and you, as Murphy said, you matter. Get out there, apply. Can't hurt. It's free. It's so there's no cost. All you can do is better yourself.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's funny when you say prism. I keep hearing prison.
Prism.
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 It's the Jersey, I guess.
Yeah, it's a Jersey, I guess.
Maybe I don't know.
Hopefully, I could drop that when I'm out in Vegas.
You're not in prison. Apply.
Prism.
You can be free.
You know, with the colors, light, as we all do here, AB.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna shine that light and break it out into all the colors.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's a really exciting piece. HETMA also has a big piece. We've approved our first HETMA approved products from Bose. So thank you very much to Bose, and congratulations to them for their first items that have come through our HETMA approved program. So you'll get to see some of those. So one of the things I'm working on, and we'll talk more about this actually. Well, we would have talked about it at the HETMA meeting and the HETMA board meeting that happens tomorrow, Friday, but you're hearing this on Monday. So we're going to try to do a scavenger hunt of sorts. So we're going to get you to go see some of our sponsors and some of the HETMA approved products and get you like to see those things, to see what we're all about. And then, you know, we'll have some swag for you at the end. So it's going to be, so keep an eye out for that as well. So yeah, so Bose, and I know there have been questions as to what qualifies for a HETMA approved product, and we'll get Donovan, who's been heading up that committee. We'll get him on the podcast and we'll get him to talk a little bit about it more. He's been doing a fabulous job with the program, and yeah, and we have evaluation sheets. There's certain key points that need to be hit. It's evaluated by HETMA members, not just HETMA like board members. It's HETMA members, and then it comes. All the evaluation forms are tabulated, and then it goes from there. So it's
also,
as we go ahead.
Also, like things we do know that people think, oh, there could be bias, or even manufacturers could theoretically reach out and try to buy approval. So manufacturers don't know any of the folks evaluating products. They don't get any of the names. They ship to our distribution center, and then we handle who gets the product. So
correct.
The manufacturers have no clue who. They'll get an idea of the type of school they went to. Is it a community college? are one institution, a public, private. Like we do spread it out across the gamut we have.
Mhm.
But again, that information is not shared.
And there are some products that are a little harder to get evaluated. So it's not, we're just going to leave it at that because I don't want to give out anything else just based on conversations. So it's not necessarily a gimme that you're going to get the HETMA approved. So just because you put it through the process doesn't mean it's going to get it. So, and I think the partners within higher ed who have always been successful with higher ed understand that, and they understand the qualifications that need to be met in order to do that. That's just an understanding that they've already had. So,
Yep, agree.
mhm. So congratulations and thank you to Bose. So you'll be seeing more about that in the coming weeks as we get closer to Infocomm, and there'll be, I know there's a couple more. I think there's more announcements coming up soon. So I know we're close to a couple other ones coming through. So keep an ear out for those two. And yeah, all exciting things leading into Infocomm again. So but as I kind of hinted towards earlier, ISE is coming up first. And I've been in, I guess you could say negotiations, but I've been talking with Joe Way. He is going to be, he's actually going over there, and he is going to be doing his piece as part of Higher Ed AV while he's out there. And I will be in contact with him while he is out there, and we will have some special segments here on the AV Life. Shorter ones. We're talking like 15 minutes. We're not talking not the full 45 that we've been doing here, but short segments of checking in with ISE, and then we're going to release them out on the website and out on podcast, YouTube videos as well, and we'll go from there. For those going during those days of ISE, so it's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited for what we might be getting from this. I know I did a little bit of like check-ins and things like that when I was down at Infocomm in Orlando, and some of the things I learned from doing that, I'm looking to improve upon for Infocomm in Vegas, and then also with what I'm working on with Joe. So more information on that as we get a little bit closer to May. So we'll see what's been going on with that. And if you've been following along with higheredav.com here in the month of April, it is the supply chain, the agonies of supply chain that we've been dealing with, and we've talked about it here on the AV Life. But actually, the most recent things I've been hearing is, products are still getting even increasingly higher delays. So a product that were promised 26 weeks are now going out to like 40 weeks. So I I feel bad. Like, I don't want to name any names because I know they're partners for a lot of higher ed institutions. So I'm gonna play nice, but I know some of my experiences is just, it's been rough. Like, it's the times that I'm looking at, like, at this point, anything that I haven't ordered for summer, I'm not getting it. Like, I can't promise that I'm going to get anything down to cables. That's the thing that actually, I think, got me. There are back ordered cables now too.
Really? Wow, I have not ran into that one yet.
Yeah, there's certain ones. Like, it's very strange. Like the ones, like I was looking for looking for USB-C to display port, and usually I get it from StarTech. And we had a whole conversation. People were asking about cables and adapters and all those on that was on yours, right? The Higher Ed AV. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was on James's Slack channel. We were having a conversation in regard to that. And like the day before, I got a message from one of our distributors saying that, oh yeah, we can't get that. Those are back ordered until September or something like that. I was like, of all, and that's the weirdest one too. USB-C to display port.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
where are these things made?
I mean, I'm guessing like,
Don't they
China,
say
Taiwan,
well, see, China's a very big place.
Yes.
Are
Mhm.
they made specifically in Shanghai?
That
That's
is
going to
a
affect us.
great question.
Yeah.
It's good, most likely. I mean, a lot of that stuff is made there.
Well,
Mhm.
I mean, no, but it's really specific. Like
Yeah.
Shenzhen is where a lot of stuff is made, small electronics, and so like
I think more chips are done there. Like
Okay.
more of the stuff with chips, and I think more of the cable is Shanghai. But I could be wrong. I'm not
and
100%
and
on
the
that.
thing to do is like if you get something from somebody, big suppliers, where does Crestron make their stuff?
I'm not a crush on shop, so I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, you're not, but we could ask them like, hey, if you look at the bill of materials, what are the things that are likely going to come up? Where are these made? And you call them, and go, hey, we got a huge bunch of things coming from these places. We tend to use these places, and you could ask them in advance, what is the city your factory is in? Because my brother lives in Beijing. Beijing is not shut down. Shanghai is very shut down right now,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and these things change. And well, last year we were talking about how COVID was affecting things. This year we're going to be talking a lot about how sanctions are going to be affecting things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And where people are allowed to, where businesses allowed to fly and sail.
Mhm.
So these are the realities of what's actually going to happen um, on our projects, on the stuff that we're working on. Like,
And I
yeah,
was saying that's hard to plan around, increasing supply, you know, extensions on delivery times. It's especially when it goes from something like 26 weeks to 40 weeks. It's like that's a jump. That's a 3-month jump that's hard to, because for us in higher ed, that's the difference between end of spring semester and start of fall
mhm.
semester.
And
And it's
if you're
actually, it's
making
even that's into fall semester. Yeah.
if you're making decisions on, well, what, we're going to try this new technology and we're going to use this new design and put it in every classroom.
Hmm.
Go look at it again. you know Now that we know what we know, and maybe the major projector of choice, this is just ballparking, right? The major projector, not even just the projector lamp of the projector of choice is from Shanghai.
Hmm. Could be.
It's all
Yeah.
the little pieces.
Hmm.
And where's it going to come next? And it's just a matter of like, well, it's not that we brings us back to the PM minute. It's not that we can know 100% of everything. It's like, okay, here's what we've got, and if we got all these things coming together. Well, what's a contingency plan if that piece is missing? What's the other idea? What can we do there, and how do we work around it?
So here I understand that. I'm going to counter that a little bit. So
Okay.
specifically with active learning rooms, a lot of the active, at least from how I've designed my active learning classrooms, have been structured around um, hardwired multi input output switches, physical
Mm,
switches, 16 by 16 or 32 by 32, depending on the size of the room.
yeah.
I would love to go to AV over IP, whoever it might be. Could be Atlona, could be Aurora, could be Crestron, whoever, that doesn't matter. But right now, those products specifically are having really long delay times. My fallback would be to go hardwire, but because of the chip shortage, a lot of those vendors are discontinuing the product lines that are those 16 by 16 and 32 by 32 larger matrix switchers. So as much as I could plan to do AV over IP or Dante AV, whatever it may be, I can't.
So
My options for the old technology are not
we're on the
there.
precipice of the dark ages, and we're going to fall into you know the stones and fur bikinis.
Hmm. And I know
I'm
people,
laughing because it's sad. This is really a problem.
and I
So
know,
yeah,
and I
don't
know,
throw anything away.
right. And I know, well, that's the thing. It's like, I would love to not throw away the equipment, but the problem is with lifestyle. I thought
Life cycle.
life cycle. Thank you. It's getting late. It's getting late on a Thursday, and I'm losing
Uh-oh.
it.
It's happening.
They are the products that I currently have in classrooms are getting to those points that are, it's like, yeah, okay, sometimes they get a little twitchy, it's like they're okay, but every once in a while it's like, all right, I gotta go up there and power cycle something, or something doesn't come up right one time, or we have to redo the programming because we're overloading the processor with, so
It's real.
yes, it's kind of like, don't throw anything away. Yes, because I can't rely on getting a replacement part. That was something I got from one of my manufacturers. I had a part that failed, and they were like, well, we don't have that original part, like that. You'd have to wait like 2 months or 3 months for that part, and we can give you this next upgraded model, which they've been very good about. I will say manufacturers have been good about it. It's like, here's what we can give you to replace it. It should work just fine. And so
I mean, that's
it,
where relationships come in key, where manufacturers will help you out, or your partners, integrators,
mhm,
they'll find a solution for you that'll fit your need. This supply chain issue we're seeing, it's going to be a long time. There's going to be a recovery from it. Even when that happens, there's already changes happen. I'm already hearing that, which I actually said this from day one of the supply chain issue, is companies are going to start reevaluating their just-in-time inventory,
mhm,
and they're going to adjust it where they have a little, maybe a little more stock on hand, but in turn that increase their inventory costs on their books, which then they also have to have storage facility for it, which increase their assets. This is all going to hurt their bottom line, and
mhm,
they're not going to want to hurt their bottom line, so they're going to jack up prices,
mhm.
which is already getting jacked up.
Right.
So it's definitely, we're going to see a new way of doing things. And if anyone read my latest article on the higher ed website, I actually talked about, I think we're going to see a lot more software defined stuff, because, software is not affected by the supply chain issue.
Sure.
Like, even if they make it in Shanghai, I can still download it,
Yep.
unless until the government shuts down the ISPs, but that's a different thing. We don't have to worry about product being shipped on boats and trains and planes and getting locked in harbors and having drivers go on strike and stuff like
It's
that.
soft and light.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I also feel it, the supply chain I also wrote, I think it allowed us to step back and really evaluate what we're doing in our spaces, and check up on each other. Like, get mental health is a really big um issue right now, and
Wow.
we're not installing equipment, so now we can check on each other. We're not blindfolded and working on equipment and tunnel vision. We can actually you know check on our employees and check on our teammates and our colleagues and making sure they're all doing well. Sorry, I went on a
So
tangent there.
that's okay. No, that's fine. And
That's
that's
real.
it's
That is
this
really
is your
real.
this is your reminder that yes, you are not alone, and we are all here for each other as one big AV family, as we've always been saying. So yes, if you need someone to talk to, or even just a good laugh, reach out, and I'm sure somebody will get you involved in a tweet storm, or just be a listening ear. So
Mm. Yeah.
um so yeah, so a lot of good things, and hopefully, yes, so we've got a long road ahead of us when it comes to the supply chain. I think we're gonna like you said, James, I agree. We're in for a rough journey for a while still.
I would
Or
actually hope that more things would be manufactured in the US.
well, actually, no. Oh, that reminds me. That was actually something I was going to say. So thank you, Murphy. I think Biamp actually remanufactured some of their sound processing so that it could be manufactured here in the United States. I saw that from one of our partners, and they had put it up there that it now has a made in the USA sticker on their processors. So it was, you know,
It's not impossible. It can be
it's
done.
not impossible. Yes, it is not impossible. It can be done. It was done here in the United States. We used to have plenty of facilities that made chips and made, that's my dad was one of those engineers. Like he designed circuitry and things like that. That was something he did. So it's like it can be done. And most higher, like larger universities that have engineering programs have smaller IC production labs, so they can create those integrated circuits. So just options I'm throwing out there.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I agree. I think a lot of stuff you're gonna see companies changing where they make products or adding locations. Um, but you also gotta look at the whole business sense of it is, can we make them in the United States? Yes. But we're already yelling minimum wage is $15 an hour. Where overseas, unfortunately, some of these places are, I would say, illegal or ethically immoral, charging child labor laws and pennies on the dollar. But
Right.
that saving is kind of coming to our end users, where okay, the business got to pay $15 an hour. They're not going to eat that cost. So again, prices are going to jack up just so we can get that made in the USA sticker. Which also, just have to, I gotta play devil advocate again here, doesn't mean all the components are made in the US. It can mean they just assembled it in America.
Oh no, that's very true. Yeah, and it also costs less to ship components by air over to here as opposed to on a ship.
Yep.
A container ship with full made displays is expensive to ship,
Yes.
but and it takes a while. But to ship out circuit boards that are 8x10, you could do that in overnight box via FedEx.
I still think that if people sat down and tried to figure it out, it can happen. Things being
Oh, I'm
made.
sure it could.
Anything can happen.
Plus,
Yeah.
also, if you think about the fact that a lot of people are working from home now, there are companies that are making that switch. So I feel like, yes, there's a juggling of finances that could possibly be done. I mean, again, I economics was not my strong class in university, so uh, I barely got through it. But I feel like there is some way of juggling the finances, and but that's my Michael Scott vision of finances. It's like, yeah, can't we just find something? Yeah, can it be financially responsible to lose money or something? Yeah.
I don't.
Some of the reasons that led this stuff to be manufactured elsewhere have changed, and that if we bring it back to America and tighten up some of the restrictions in America, that
Well,
we
that's the
could do
thing. The
something.
tighter restrictions leads to the higher costs.
Excuse me, I
Where
misspoke. I meant loosen. I spoke that wrong.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we, I mean, my goodness, California does nothing but add restriction to business. So
Yes.
and business is like, okay, see ya.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, we have shot ourselves in the foot, especially our state governments. And New Jersey's another one. In fact, before they made the flat corporate tax of 21%, California and New Jersey used to be the two highest state. So you had a federal corporate tax of 35%, and then California was 13%, on that, and then I think New Jersey was 10%. So corporations were only almost paying 50% tax on their income. So, well, now it's a
Yeah.
flat 21%.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and now we're starting to see, and we're
fresh in my mind because my class. So that's all.
and what's
Other than that, I'm horrible at finance.
well, it's interesting because we're starting to see corporations that were headquartered in like other major metro areas now coming to New Jersey, which is interesting. A lot of them were like New York City or like Chicago, you know, they're now coming to New Jersey because even just I think the cost of living in general for their employees is cheaper. So, which
Not
is
much.
weird to say that. Not much, but it's weird. Yeah, because it's weird to say it because it's expensive to be here in New Jersey. I will say that till the end. I'm not leaving, but I'm I'm gonna stay put. I'm gonna pay, you know, out the nose until I die. So yeah.
Well, it'll be
But
interesting
yeah,
to
it's an
hear
interesting trend,
how,
I think. Yeah.
James, it'll be interesting to hear your impressions after living in Nevada for a while.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some
Tax
concerns I
different
have there. So in my research I've been doing, but yeah, it's going to be different than this New Jersey. I've always wanted to get out of Jersey. There's a lot of things for what I enjoy where I live currently. I did enjoy working for Stockton. This is no ill will any there. I'm not burning any bridges. This was just a move professionally I had to do
Mhm.
career. And so I'm definitely gonna miss parts of Jersey, but I've always wanted to get out of Jersey.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of change is on the horizon.
Oh yeah, we're seeing
Oh,
change.
I think so. Yeah. So we'll have to just strap ourselves in and see what's gonna happen. So it's gonna be a fun ride.
It will be. It'll be an adventure.
Yeah. Well, yes. And speaking of that, we're gonna wrap this up for this week on the AV Life. So, James, we wish you the best of travels as you head to the other side of the country. You know, we will miss you here in New Jersey, but I will see you when I come out to Infocomm. I will figure out a way to get over there, even if you don't show yourself. I'm still gonna find you somehow.
You know, I won't make you cry. I'll make Joe cry.
Okay. All right. Good. I don't want to cry.
Yeah, no, we won't make Tim cry.
And Murphy, thank you as always for joining and your miniaturous you know, yeah, your miniaturous powers. So and thank you to all of our listeners. And again, highrateav.com, hetma.org, all of your socials and websites for that information. Prism Scholarship. And yeah, for all of our corporate listeners out there, yes, the HETMA approved program is an option for you. And eventually involvement with hetma.org will be there as well. So keep an eye out for that. And as I always say, until our next adventure.